This conference will now be recorded.
Hello and welcome. My name is Rochelle Ward. I'm from the Export Council of Australia, and today I'll be discussing the Export Awards application questions and how best to answer them. This webinar will take about 20 minutes and any questions can be directed to me, so please keep your eye out for my contact details at the end of this recording. Okay, let's get started. First of all, I want to talk about the awards process itself. Okay, so for those that are new to the program, I'd like to talk about what happens if you were to win or state or territory award. So this program, it runs simultaneously across every state and territory. Winners of the 13 industry categories, and I'll talk about those categories in a few moments, but the winners for those 13 industry specific categories for each state and territory will then compete at a national level. So it's only those that win an industry award category that progress to the National Australian Export Awards, and they're held a bit later in the year in November or December. You can only complete one application, and if you're successful, that one application is used for both the state and the national program. So just keep that in mind when you're preparing your application. Okay, let's have a look at those award categories that I mentioned before. So it's quite broad. There's 13 industry categories as mentioned. When selecting a category, consider what you would wish to be publicly associated with. So as a company, you can enter as many categories as you like, although please read through the criteria of all the awards to ensure that you are eligible for that award. So for an example, many companies supplying the Small Business Award, and it's my job each year to go through and vet those applications to make sure, or those entries, to make sure that they're eligible for that category. So to give you an example, the criteria reads for an outstanding international success by any business with a total annual sales not exceeding $5 million. So that includes both domestic and international sales not exceeding $5 million. So just keep those things in mind and have a read through, because it's a shame for those companies that do enter it and they're not eligible to enter that competition. Each state and territory usually have some extra awards. In Queensland, we have 3. We do this because the program continuously adapts to what's happening in the market, and this year is no different, obviously. Many states offer these individual categories. Just note that these state-based awards, if you were to win one of these, you don't proceed to the Australian National Export Awards. If you have any questions about that, obviously you can give me a call or contact me via email just to confirm or clarify. So as you can see, in Queensland, we have Defence, Innovation and Women in International Business. These are really popular categories. They have a winner and they have finalists as well. Okay, we're going to go through an overview. This is a quick overview of the questions, and as you can see, each question has a weighting. So think about that when you're writing your questions. Obviously, question 3 is a 40% weighting, but every point makes a difference, so please keep that in mind. Best advice I can give you is to read each of the questions and read all the requirements and tick them off. So think about it as an assignment. Presenting a well thought out application will absolutely be a great advantage. I can tell you now that not all applications are well presented. So if you take some time, have a think about your application, answer all the questions, it'll make a big difference. It's really obvious to the judges when an applicant hasn't read the whole question, and it can really lead to you missing out on valuable points. Just as a bit of background, the judges have got really strict criteria that they need to meet. So if you leave out information, you could lose points. Many times, I can tell you in judging, the difference between winning or missing out, or even being a finalist to a winner, comes down to 1 or 2 points. Happens every year. So every point is extremely important. Remember, judges only have your written application to go on, so you've really got to capture their attention and answer the questions accordingly. So a commonality for past winners is that they've addressed all the criteria. You could be the best export company there is, but if you don't answer these questions, the judges just don't know. And it's really important to cover all your achievements. There's lots of changes this year, so there's some new questions, some have been removed. I feel it's a bit more streamlined, so yay if you've entered before. There's some really nice changes to the questions, I'll have to agree. Okay, so let's look at your executive summary, question 1. It's only 200 words. When you think about the word count, that it's so important. If you go over, it'll just be cut off. So you must stick to the word count. I know some of them are really, really short, but that means you've got to really write concise. So as you can see, there's no points allocated. There's no waiting for the executive summary, but I've got to say it's probably the most important question. Okay, this is your introduction to the judges. It's really important that you capture their attention at this early stage. Be sure to explain what you do and who you are. I've read so many executive summaries over the years. I get to the end of it and I think, oh, I'm really still not sure about what it is that you do. Get to that point straight away. The judges may not know your business. So word this like you're introducing your company for the first time, okay? Make sure you list your competitive advantage as well. Why are you better than your competitors? And just simply talk about what makes your company so great. You're really selling yourself here. Think about growth stats and number of staff. This kind of thing, it helps the judges to provides them with a better picture of your company and gets them excited about what they're going to read. Bear in mind as well, this section, the text from this question only can be used in the media. So if you were to win or place, they can utilise this area. So it really is important that you don't use your technical language, make it easy to understand, okay? So that's your executive summary. So first question with a weighting, company products and services, it's a 25% weighting, so it's a bit of a big deal. 2.1, tell us about your business. Maximum 300 words. I know it's just not a lot, so you've really got to be concise. But judges, what they want to hear about, they love the story about how you've got started, okay? So think about how your company, product or service got started and really define the company's international competitive advantage. What is it about you that's so great? Think about your diversification and all your achievements. Again, think about who your customers are. But please don't use your technical language or your company terminology because we just don't understand it. Too many times I'll read something that has all these acronyms in it and refers to this and that, and I just think, well, I've got no idea what you're talking about. So explain it in layman's terms so that everybody can understand it. 2.2, this is kind of a new question, this one. So describe a single outstanding international business success in your financial year. The best part about listening to these type of webinars is I can give you some inside information. The way this question's worded, it looks like a specific deal or international partnership that's had major impact. But you really need to think outside of the square. This can relate to any part of your business. So packaging, logistics, maybe you've had a new website, maybe you've had a new social media campaign. Think about what you can report on that's happened in the last 12 months, okay? And it says there, provide quantitative results, any stats, even if you can benchmark yourself against your competitors using statistics, percentages is really brilliant. So if you can do that as well. 2.3, so this is what we call our category specific questions. As I mentioned before, you can enter as many categories as you like, as long as you meet the criteria, but you must complete a specific category question for each category entered. For example, if you enter agribusiness and creative industries category, you would need to complete questions 2.3.1 and 2.3.2. It will make sense when you've got the questions in front of you. Each of these questions are 300 words. This was introduced quite recently so that judges could really identify the strength of a business within that category. We found applicants would go in and just tick all the boxes. Yep, I'll just enter anything. Well, it doesn't work that way. You really need to provide further information about your company and why you are the best in that category. So this is where you can really differentiate your product and better explain why you deserve to win in the category. It's important for this response to be standalone as well. So try not to repeat something that's already covered in previous questions. To an extent anyway, I understand that's a bit difficult. International business strategy, that's 40%, so it's such a large part, and 3.1 is only 200 words, so it's tiny really. So tell us about your international business marketing strategies. So international business and marketing strategies, it's two there, so let's break it up. International business, how do you decide on which country you're going to expand into or target? So think about who in the business makes this decision. What research did you do before you entered the market? Wow, R&D is so important. So please make sure you list R&D, R&D, R&D. How did you ensure the sustainability of this market? Did you hire more staff? Did they have export experience in this market? And how many times did you actually visit the country? What is it that made you sure that this market was best for you? Yeah. Next part is in relation to marketing strategies. Think about everything. Think about trade shows that you've been to, anything to do with digital, Facebook, any kind of those media channels, social media channels. Think about your branding, your translation of your branding, your face-to-face, anything that you've done in terms of your marketing for your product as well. What did we say? 200 words, dot point. Dot point is fine. So get straight to the point. You don't have a lot of room here. 40% waiting. Okay, 3.2, social impact programs. Again, this is a new question. So think outside of the square. Every business is answering the same question. So you need to relate these questions to your business. Okay, so think about packaging, staff, logistics, your product or your services offered. Is there any social impact in relation to anything that you do? As they said, for an example, a commitment to ethical and or sustainable sourcing. Okay, again, any problems, you can always contact me with questions. So that's 3.2, 150 words, not much there either as well. International business strategy. Okay, 3.3, it's international sales figures, I beg your pardon. So here the judges, they're looking at the quality of your export marketing strategy in conjunction with your level of export sales. It's not all about the monetary value. Okay, so it both counts. Complete the annual total sales figures, for both domestic and international sales, and then the total sales of goods and services. Most people have the accountants in their company complete this aspect. The form auto calculates for a lot of it as well, but there's not much else I can tell you about that. But I just want to assure you that it's not just the income, it's about your strategy as well. 4, we've got human resources. 4.1, provide the total number of employees, where there are other specific HR strategies in place. With this one, your HR strategies, you've got 150 words. So think about here with your strategy, just to break this down a bit, think about your international sales force and structure, okay, your global management structure, international trade training. Do you employ people with different language skills? Maybe you don't have an international sales force structure, but maybe you've got people in the office that do have bilingual or have that skill, and they're your trade export manager. Does your staff participate in overseas trips? Do you allow your staff to work overseas? Think about the geographical spread. Think about diversity, workplace effectiveness, learning and development programs. Think about cultural awareness training or supporting language capabilities, as I kind of just touched on. So I hope that helps to explain with the HR strategies. I understand there'll be larger businesses and much smaller businesses again. So you have to think outside the square and relate these questions to your business, and they can be very different for different companies. So do you source more than 1/3 inputs from outside Australia? If so, comment on the risk strategies. When they talk about the risk strategies they have in place for that, so if you're sourcing, say, 50% of your product from overseas, think about the risk strategies in place. How many suppliers do you have? What if that supplier runs out? Do you have backup? How does that work? What about shipping? What happens if a problem goes there? Just think about your strategy, also with income. You know, it can relate to payment terms as well. The whole business management strategy around that risk strategy if you're sourcing from overseas as well. Okay, we're almost finished. International business future direction. What they're looking at here is they just want to make sure you're still exporting in the next 12 to 18 months. So it's really important here to convince the judges that you're committed to international business and you've invested to ensure that you're here and that you have the capability to sustain your export business. So really think about new markets. Where and why? What are your plans for the future? What are you looking to do? What investment have you got on R&D? And maybe what are some of the results of that? Where are you looking to go? maybe you're launching a new product or service. That's a bit exciting. New strategic partnerships that might be coming on board. Changes to production or supply chain distribution networks. Maybe employing new staff. And these staff are solely to support the export growth or export development in your business. So that's what they're talking about. Really, like I said before, they just want to understand that you're committed and that you'll be exporting in years to come. Okay, so that's it for the questions, but I had to add this in here because every year I do have a lot of problems. It's really important when you're uploading your images, do it early. Don't wait till the last day. There's so many people trying to source images on the last day and it never ends well. See, it's got to be a minimum of 1 megabyte. Please don't take little iPhone, even though the iPhones are quite good these days, pictures around the office, somebody sitting at their desk, because it just doesn't work well for you. Not only that, you've got to think if you're a winner or a finalist, these images is what's going to be used for marketing purposes. So it's really, really important that you have a good variety, include product shots, branding, whatever it is. I just wanted to give you some examples of some good images that we've had in the past. Okay, so these are brilliant, obviously, and the media love them as well. So if the media are looking for something decent, it's just it's imperative that you have good images for them to run more information about you. Okay, contacts, key dates and contacts. So entries close Wednesday, 31 July. We do announce the finalists on Monday, 9th of September, and then the awards gala dinner is on Thursday, the 10th of October. There is my email address and my direct phone number, so please contact me at any time with any questions that you may have. The link to the website, if you have any further questions, you've probably all been there. Already been there, I should say. So that concludes the webinar for now. You'll see the URL on your screen. I just want to wish you all the very best of luck, and I really look forward to celebrating with you later in the year. So thank you for your time and good luck from the Export Council of Australia. Okay, thank you.
This conference will now be recorded.